I'm Teresa Garcia or Amehana Arashi, depending on where you know me from. I'm an author, poet, illustrator, narrator, editor, and quite a few other things to make ends meet. I am here today to review The Adventures of Pedro by author Lancaster. I'm giving this a 5-star rating and believe it to be for all ages, not just a children's book. It is fiction and roughly 90 pages. A bit ago, I had been contacted in my email by a marketer representing the author and his book. The marketer had been looking through my reviews on Amazon and liked the way that I review things. He told me a bit about the book and asked if I would be interested in reviewing it, to which I agreed because the story sounded awesome. I love this kind of thing. It took a little bit longer than I expected to get around to reading it because of everything that's been going on, but I finally got to it and I finished it very quickly because it was, after all, only 90 pages. The story follows Pedro, as one would guess. Pedro is born to Esmerelda, a donkey that has been bought by an enterprising man in a seaside town in Greece. The lot of the donkeys and his mother is to carry tourists from the beach back up the hill after their long day in the sun. The focus of the donkeys is on the larger tourists, as that is what they normally seem to end up carrying. As he grows, he learns much from his elders, just like human children. And just like human children, he can be pretty mischievous. Our enterprising donkey's adventures truly begin once he has grown up, and the time has come for him to make a daring escape, and leaves with a promise to later be fulfilled. Through the course of things, he meets some kind people who become his family, and performs several heroic deeds around the town. In every story, though, there is some force that conspires against the hero, and this story is no different. Pedro must ultimately save himself and those that he grew up with. I greatly enjoyed this tale. The story teaches us that curiosity, perseverance, and ingenuity are good things to possess and use. Fortitude and bravery are other qualities I found being imparted, as are the kindness and generosity that is modeled by Vassos and George. Friendship is another thread in this tapestry as well. We learn that it is good to do what must be done, that work can be balanced with a good life, and we even find the importance of coming to terms with the past. There are far too many lessons tucked away in this story to go over. I believe it would be excellent for use in school to either analyze in class or to read to students during story time. It would also make for a fantastic audiobook and is the sort that I would love to narrate. I cannot recommend this book highly enough to those looking for a story that is short without being too short, that is clean, and is uplifting. I hope that you enjoy it too. Now, I did find a lot of exposition and description in this. I didn't find it to be too much. Some people might feel that is a little bit much, but considering that this is a story written for children, I don't think it is, and especially as not everybody is familiar with Greece. So I really appreciated having everything described, being put in the area. I could see in my mind's eye everything that was surrounding us and everything that Pedro was going through. And I really appreciated that, as I've not gotten to travel as widely as I would have liked. Now, I would like to read a bit from the story so that I can share with you some of the writing and the writing style. I'm going to be reading just a bit before Pedro makes his escape. This is in chapter 8 of the story. As this monster got closer, the donkeys could feel a slight tremor underfoot, an unnerving vibration that was eerily foreboding. The monster stopped to rest bending and placing its hands on its knees. It had arms as fat and pink as hams, and there was a whoosh of air as it exhaled heavily outward. It stood up again and proceeded towards their human. It stood, towering over and expanding on either side of him, and spoke. The donkeys cringed. When it spoke, Pedro thought it sounded like water gurgling down a drain. It handed over some shiny things to their human and looked squarely at Pedro. Pedro swallowed hard, but was relieved to see their human smile and shake his head. The monster spoke again, sounding like pebbles being swept across the road. It offered their human some more shiny things, and he smiled, looking over at Pedro, and extended his hand to take them. The other donkeys looked on, mouths agape, as the monster made its way over to Pedro, took a firm grip on the rope around his neck, swung one massive flabby leg over his back, and sat down. Pedro let out a small squeal as the weight of the monster settled on his back. Pedro could feel his legs start to shake under the weight. His whole body went taut, and his breathing became heavy and labored. Other tourists had also given their human shiny things, and they were settling onto donkeys of their own. Pedro knew he could not move. His body was braced, and he knew if he lifted a leg to move, he would just collapse. When all the tourists were settled and ready to move, their human took Daisy's rope and told the donkeys to go. The first few donkeys started walking, and then the donkey two ahead of Pedro, then Esmerelda, and Pedro knew he would have to move next. He took a deep breath, and with all the strength he could muster, he sat down. And please forgive me, because that was not as clear as I would have liked, as I am recovering from some allergies and, hopefully, getting over a cold. Until next time, have a good night. I'll see you in another video with another review, another reading, or perhaps a meditation.